Previously on Could Help.
What would you say is the sound of love? Not a clue, right?
No, I have no clue.
It's going to be elusive to you because it's a riddle. It's something that's been hidden from you your whole life. Laughter is the sound that we make when we love. The reason that it is a riddle is because it's not the kind of love that most people automatically think of. And we tend to do that aiming because, well, we can't trust everybody. But when we are not aiming our love, you can't help but laugh. You just love everything and everyone in those moments. You don't have your defenses up.
Mm-hmm. Completely like vulnerable, like joy, like
yes.
I love that feeling.
Overflowing with joy and love, and you're not concerned about who it hits. You're not concerned about who's going to take advantage of it. That is the genuine laugh. We've geared a style of thinking towards, I can get more for myself if I care about others less. We wind up with the necessity of lowering our compassion, of basically deadening ourselves a bit so that we don't feel as bad for other people. We don't feel as obligated to help other people. And we use the breaking laugh for that. This kind of laughter, again, it's this bootleg version of the real sound. And we're using the sound of loving all to help as a salve on the wound of each time we break our compassion off just a little more. And it was from here that I found everything else. So, one of the reasons I threw this up here and was like, hey, I want to do an interview, like I want to, more of me telling you about this stuff, but I want to, have a talk on camera, was I had a pretty serious reaction to that revelation, that I was breaking my compassion with this laugh, specifically this laugh. And
bad laugh.
What are you, anything pop into mind? What are your immediate thoughts on that?
I feel like I've had similar thoughts, not so much around like laughter, but so much I feel like there's kind of like a cheapening of like the genuine like human spirit, like the getting together and the like, that feeling the joy, like it just like you feel it present everywhere, and I think one of the biggest things on like controlling my emotions is like I'm aware of like where I feel them in like my body, and
okay,
I don't know, feeling like that all over joy is literally something that I totally search for, and I find it in like Mario Party, and I find it at live shows, and I find it at like 3:30 in the morning, and I haven't slept for a few hours, and I don't know. I've never really thought about like the laughter like that before, because I know I've had my cheap laughs, and I'm trying to watch what I laugh about, what I talk about a lot. Like I've tried to stop gossiping, watching how I speak about people and the way I speak about things.
Sure.
So you kind of talked about it earlier. Word, like human language, it's like the number one thing you can control. I feel like it's our first line of, I don't want to say defense, but it's one of the first things that I can make tangible about myself.
Right.
It's the way that I talk and the words that I speak.
And the fact that there isn't just an automatic correlation between what you think and what you say.
Oh, and I have a huge problem with that. Like expressing truly what I'm thinking. It's very complicated. At least it can be. It's
not just like people think that it's just one filter that it passes through of like, am I going to say this or not?
No.
But it's also like, is there a better way of saying of this? Is that like it goes through this kind of revision process, but like as it's barreling down to the mouth because you're running out of time to say it, and then like, but a lot of times you find yourself being like, because it just didn't make the cut at the last second.
No. I'm a very harsh editor. Or maybe I should be a harsher editor. I'm really not sure which one it is. Believe it or not, I'm like having 4 simultaneous like thought processes at the same time. It just feels like layers upon layers of thought in my head.
Which is why I'm sure it's fun for you to like have those moments where you're talking about something with somebody and you get, for some reason, there's a pause in the conversation. You get like 3 or 4 seconds to yourself to go from A to B to C to D to D. And because you're having those 4 conversations, they're conversing too with the conversation that you're having, which brings in side stuff that why would they even, and you just restart the conversation at F, and they're like, well, that was a weird shift. You're like, actually, it wasn't. It's very intuitive.
Oh, you shifted?
It takes about 6 steps to get there. It's a little Kevin Bacon-y, but...
That's not bad, though. I love trimmers. So when you like notice the cheap laughter, like what did you do to change that? Like what did you do to shift yourself into like genuine laughter?
Interesting question. I'm so glad you asked.
That sounds like something kind of hard to do. I've been just trying to change more minor things about me, less impulsive than a laugh, and it's hard.
Yes. So that's the key. The behavior is the symptom. The actual disease is the thing that you have to change. At the time I was doing stand-up as well. I was doing a comedy podcast. I was good at it, but I was also very mean. I'd go very blue. I honestly didn't care who I hit. I would go for the laugh, end of the day, no matter how anybody walked away from it. And I guess that was kind of needed to get to the point where I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But the night that I realized it, we had, at that point with the comedy podcast, we had 36 2-hour episodes that have been recorded.
Is that supposed to be off?
Huh? Is that still rolling?
Yeah.
Cool. Bless you.
Thank you.
People say bless you when you sneeze, and I never understood that because sneezing feels amazing.
I love sneezing.
And hiccuping are awful. That's when I need your blessings.
Yes.
I don't need you to bless me for... I'm blessed because I sneeze.
I absolutely agree. I love a good sneeze.
Have you ever seen somebody who thought they were going to sneeze and didn't sneeze?
Oh, I'm
That's
pissed.
all the evidence.
I'm pissed.
That's all the evidence you need.
Oh, no, I didn't cough. I'm not upset by that at all.
We had 36 2-hour episodes in the can of the podcast at the point where I discovered this, and I stopped stand-up immediately, and I stopped the podcast. I killed the podcast immediately that night. Never went back. Well, I mean, I do a podcast now, but I think we can argue that it's significantly different. I had to make a lot of choices, a lot of decisions, and one of the things that I came to was, I'd done enough research. Like, I'd spent most of my life trying to figure out, is there a God? Like, what morally, what's going on, with the world? Like, what are morals? Why do we have them? Why am I drawn to logic? Like, how did all these things, patterns, right? Science is all patterns. It's things that were already happening, but we're just observing them, and we see it happening. We go, okay, it happened like this, and I'm going to assume it's going to happen like this again.
I know how to explain this to others. I know how to make other people understand this.
Right, and if
well.
I come across this situation, I understand that it's going to do this. So I understand that if I do this to it, it's going to do this other thing. And they observe that, and they keep messing with it, and they keep just observing what it does over and over and over again. But the point that a lot of scientists and physicists and mathematicians come to is that was one of the cameras. Where were we? Ultimately, what did I do about it? Well, I didn't just absorb these individual things. Like you can't make a change based off of just understanding that. I came to the conclusion that in a universe in which this is plainly hidden in front of our faces, in a universe in which we are guided down this hidden path that removes us from our fellow man, in a world where we're supposed to be giving a shit about it. I mean, the top organized religions all agree on one point, and that is the golden rule: care about your fellow man. Love how Kurt Vonnegut said it in Hello Babies. And the Hello Babies, Welcome to Earth. Have you ever heard that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's genius. It's a paragraph, but he says basically it's hot in the summer and cold in the winter, and it gets wet and it's interesting and yada yada, but there's only one rule. Gee dang it, you gotta be kind. And it's such a, I don't know, it's that, yes, be kind to each other, care about each other. It's the core of how you get to happiness. It is the good, like, is so intrinsically built into the design of our world and our ability to live within our world that it's obvious evidence of a designing hand. What makes those patterns in science and math repeat in the first place? If it's all chaos theory, that's not an option. Honestly, at this point, we can rule out chaos theory. Chaos theory is a one in a infinite amount of possibilities. Every other one has to be guided. It's so finely tuned. The finely tuned theory. Most scientists believe that there is something. So coming from a place of that, I realized that I ultimately, if I can't make myself think about, oh, I'm going to drop my defenses and do it. But what I can do is I can trust them. Well, that's terrifying, a lot of people say. But yeah, how can you just open your arms? And I did, dude. I did 44 days homeless, where I, slept in. The Nashville mission was wonderful to me, but it did house some very dangerous people. Never was I touched, or was I even approached in an aggressive way. I chose to love them all.
Love.
I chose, but that was hard, man. More specifically, it was hard to love God. It was hard to trust God and that. And what was crazy about it was it wasn't this thing that you can start here and then you have this. It was this thing that you have to kind of do both at the same time, and they intermingle. By loving everybody here, by opening myself to them, by trusting all of them, I trusted Him. And I loved Him. I felt love towards Him for the first time. It was hard for me to love God because I couldn't talk to God on a porch at 3 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't have a beer with God. I couldn't get a hug from God, somebody I've never actually directly spoken to and seen in, nonverbal communications from. I've had moments where I'm close to God, but it is something that is difficult, kind of like swimming upstream. But when I started loving people was difficult, but only until I realized there was a part of them that was more like God than it was like people. Mm-hmm. It seems to be here. We call it the heart, but honestly, it's got nothing to, bless his heart. What does the muscular, blood-pumping organ have to do with anything? We're talking about something that's there that can't be weighed, can't be, seen, it can't be touched, it can't be tasted, but we feel it. And I think it's the origin of our emotions.
I know when I have felt my best, it's like radiating from this part of my body. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When you love it, just you shine.
Yeah.
And it's visible. It's, people actually, how you're glowing. Yeah, in a way that is being thrown off, like that, just the use of the word glowing. Like, you're not physically emitting light, but it's the closest approximation they have, because you are emitting something. And that part of us is all interlinked, all entangled. The way that quantum entanglement happens is two things coming into existence at the same time, the same
We're all
place.
the same shit.
The entire universe came out of one singularity, where every atom in the universe existed simultaneously. We are all quantumly entangled. We are all part of this big thing. That's a story for another time.
Oh, it's one I'm ready to dive into.
We will make that for part 2. I think, we are definitely past filming limit for this. So, guys, if you want to hear more of this, Brianne, do you have anything you want to plug? We have cameras here, cameras here.
I've had a really, really good time. It's been an absolute pleasure seeing you, and I'm really excited to do this again, because it's like, I feel like, specifically like with the laugh, I feel like that has a lot to do with like what you had your own revelation within that, and I feel like there's definitely a lot that I can learn from that. So I'm excited to continue this conversation and think about this conversation and how I can apply it to like the things I know I need to work on.
Kelly, you got anything to plug?
It's not appropriate.
I appreciate you holding back, sir.
So,
But that's, I guess that's gonna do it for Will Talks.
Will and Way.
I don't know what I'm gonna call this. This hopefully could help. We'll pick back up on this another time, right at this leaving point. I'm bookmarking it.
Bookmarked.
And remember, guys, be good to them. Be good for them. You're gonna be fantastic. I'm W.S. Walker. She's Brianne. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Quick, stop the other one! Kelsey, I really want to include you, but I know that I can't be looking at you. That's the one angle I can't do here, because it's just that awkward, dull days just off camera.
looks like you're staring at it, but if you look closely, you're definitely not.
How's that? Kelly, am I staring at your soul?
I'll get you, Gadget, next time.
I'll be Way.
Sorry, that's an Inspector Gadget.
Like W-H or W-A-I.
W-E-A?
Way. Just be like, where there's a will, there's a way.
Can we please do that?
Yes, we can.
All right, we're doing the intro. Hi, I'm W.S. Walker from the Laughing Matters podcast and Will Help from the Could Help channel. This little starlet over here.
I'm Way.
What is that?
It's Way.
And this is Way. So when there's a will, you know there's a way.
There's a way.
So,
It's pretty good.
you can close your eyes and you can think.
You're a star, baby.
Cause baby, I'm a. Whoa, whoa. Not now.